Yeah, I just kind of associate that with like grungy 2000s film, and X2 is like kind of emblematic of that last time I watched it. But the movie itself was really, really good. The character writing and everything was really nice. Setting with withstanding. Um, and then uh, X3 was okay. Um, I think the hate for that movie is way overblown. I think it was fine, but it was definitely like a bit of a step down. In most aspects, it tried its hardest to be kind of a conclusion to everything, and in some ways it succeeds, but in a lot of ways it kind of felt underbaked. I didn't hate it though, like not at all. I think the hate is like crazy overblown. It's like one of those movies where it's like you get older and then you use the internet for the first time. It's like, wait, this movie that I like, everyone hates for some reason. The Jurassic Park sequels are are another good example of that. I don't think I have any updates on stuff. I did say I got rid of the Xbox, right? I gave one to my dad. I need to go ahead and get the parts for these other ones so I can get rid of them. There's a lot of stuff I'm ready to sell. I just need to clean up a bit, make a space, and then take pictures and stuff and list it. That'd be awesome if I could do that this week. I should really make a point to get some stuff done. Maybe I'll do the tier list right now. I don't know. I don't want to. There's spots in here where I really need to concentrate. Even though it's not hard, it's easy to, like I said, it's easy to mess up. There's a lot of dead air like these first few chapters. Um, I don't know if I talked about animated stuff I've been watching. I don't remember the last time I updated on that. Oh, my brother gave me his like Xbox charging battery charging thing because he broke the charging port, and it's like broken a lot deeper than that. Like it ripped up the motherboard. So I told him to just buy another one. Um, for me to fix it, I would need parts that I don't have. It would take a new, what do you call it? Some new things that I haven't tried before, which I'm willing to try. I was trying to buy a broken PS5 off of Facebook Marketplace. I think that would be fun, even though I have plenty of stuff that I have that needs fixing. I think that would be fun to work on. But the guy, like, I think he sold it. He was talking. I don't know. Facebook Marketplace is such a bust, but it's like the only place you can get half decent deals half the time. It's just kind of swimming through sludge to get to the gold at the very bottom. But the guy was talking to me, and we were all good to go. We were like planning to go out and make the transaction, and he just listed as sold the other day, and then never never responded, which is pretty much the bugs there on that water makes me think that all the water's like poisoned, which is why you just die instantly. Other than the fact that I don't think he knows how to swim, but I think that's what that shot is supposed to mean. Although I do think, after replaying the game so many times, I will give this game this. It's more replayable than Journey is. Journey is kind of a slog, especially just because it's so slow. At least in this, even when you're just walking, doing nothing for like 20 seconds, you still feel like you're progressing, you know? Journey just takes forever. But Journey is... Oh shoot, I forgot about that. Thank goodness I didn't die. I would have to restart. That's why I'm not gonna pull up any tier list. I already can't even pay attention with talking. Journey is a lot more fun to control, I will say, and it's, as an experience, I think it's more impactful and stronger. But as like just mechanics wise, I think this game is a little bit more interesting. I do want to play Mega Man Soccer. I'm really in a Mega Man mood, which is good, right? To get back to those, I want to play some of these spin-offs before I start Mega Man 7. Well, I guess Mega Man 4 on the Game Boy is next. It has some stuff that it introduced that would later go on to the main games. Just I think after that awful Mega Man 3, I was in the mood to jump into another Game Boy game. I kind of am now. I'll probably get to the Game Gear game since I hear that one's pretty terrible. And then the second DOS game, hopefully it's not as bad as people say. Like the first one wasn't bad at all, but I hear the second one's even worse. Deceptively easy jump there. One of the spots in the game where I'm worried I'm gonna lose alive. I don't know why I wanted to. It's been forever since I've seen the X-Men movies. You know, sometimes you just get a craving for, especially old movies you used to watch a lot. I'll probably rank them all once I'm done with them. Why not? There's plenty there to talk about. And it kind of works out because I'm going to do MCU rewatch because I'm kind of, even though I like the MCU, I'm not like a huge fan of it. I'm probably more on the casual side of things because I'm one of the people who like after Endgame it's like, yeah, I think I'm good, I'm done. I watch like very few. I think they're like in phase 6 now. I don't even know where phase 4 and 5 went, but after Endgame, I just kind of stopped watching like most people. And the movies definitely got a little worse. Although some of them are already kind of bad. So there's a lot there that I never watched. There's a lot of TV shows that I hear solid things about that I've never seen. That I'm like, well, I might as well. But there's a lot of TV shows though. Especially with the Netflix stuff. And also like you count like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff. It's kind of nuts. I hope it's good enough to keep my interest. Because I was thinking about what other stuff. Because I recently rewatched Amazing Spider-Man duology, and then I watched the original trilogy. Spider-Man. And I was thinking today, like, oh, maybe I can rank those. It was like, I've only seen like the second and third Tom Holland films like one time. I do want to rewatch them, but I'm already like gearing up to rewatch them, so I might as well just keep those in their spots, and then I'll talk about all Spider-Man stuff after that. I should probably give Into the Spider-Verse another try, because I only seen that once and I didn't really like it. Why does he smash that like that? I think maybe I go too quick for it to make an impact like it's supposed to. Like when he swipes at you when you're moving the boulder when you're in the cocoon. He swipes like way later. I think if you go a lot slower, it would make a lot more sense. I did buy a repro. I've been thinking about that, like, because I like collecting, right? But when they're reproductions, which I'm less fussy about nowadays, in general, I'm less fussy about not getting the official thing when the prices are just, they're ludicrous half the time. Like, you can't even justify spending a certain amount of money on certain things. Obviously, I would prefer to have stuff officially in the original format. I kind of feel the same about my imported games, because while it is cool to have like the games officially, like nights, I would prefer, at least Christmas nights when it has like the cutscenes. It kind of the whole point, at least for me, when for like a collector or like a, mostly a purist, like the type of people that I'm closer to when it comes to playing video games. Like stuff, they play stuff on original. The whole point is to have that original feeling that you would have. Play stuff in how it's meant to be, back then. But when I have to like look up a cutscene just to listen to it in English, that's taken me out of the experience. The reason I just don't emulate is because it takes you out of the experience, in my opinion, and it's not quite what was intended. Something like playing nights on the 3D controller, can't quite have the same experience elsewhere. I feel like with the regular stick, it would be a lot more imprecise and not as fun and not as freeing as a feeling to fly around. That's kind of the benefit of having it on the original hardware. But like I said, when I have to like look up a cutscene, The result is the same, where it just kind of takes me out. Um, Even though I don't own a ton of manuals, I would prefer to have them. When I have to like Google a manual, that also like takes me out of the experience. Um, that's just how I feel about it. I know some people, they just do it because they like seeing stuff on the shelf, or like collecting every single game because it looks cool, or it's cool to them. But I'd remind myself, like, half the reason I even have a PC is so I could emulate stuff that I was never able to play. It just kind of coincided with me finally buying systems that I never thought I would have. Excuse me. Like back when I bought the PC or built it like 2 years ago, I was still on the. Nah, I never emulate. It's really not for me. Um, but now I'm like more open to that sort of thing. But it's also kind of coincided with me like buying systems I never thought. Like I never thought I would have a Sega Saturn. I think I talked briefly about this, but like back when I used to start collecting, which was like late 2010s, that's when I had like a lot more money for myself, and I could actually buy stuff. Oof, for myself. And stuff like the NES around then, ludicrously pricey because it was going through that nostalgic period with the people who grew up with that system were buying for it, so you couldn't really find anything. NES to a lesser degree, Genesis. What am I doing wrong here? I was like, yeah, I'll never own that stuff. And it was also kind of, I started with the 5th gen, which is N64, Saturn, and PlayStation 1. I had N64, that was my childhood console. But stuff like having no save systems for most of the games, passwords and stuff like that, to me that's archaic and old at the time, especially. God, it's like, nah, I think there's a certain limit to things. Like, I don't think I'm missing out on much. I think those are like a bit too out of my comfort zone, I guess. It's not even worth investing into, which was my mindset to sort of like mark off those generations in those systems specifically. And then the Saturn and the Dreamcast were just insanely pricey, or are, they still are. I happened to find a good deal on a Dreamcast. It was a period when I feel like it wasn't as pricey. It's right now it's, excuse me, the software still is, and the consoles have gone up a bit, but it's still not that bad to buy a console, at least. You could probably just burn discs, I guess, if you really wanted. Or get an ODE if that's more your style. But someone told me about Saturn imports, and I didn't know. I think I like subconsciously knew, but again, like I just completely wrote off those systems, so I didn't even care whenever I heard anything about them. That and like the NES market is like healthy again because like the people who were buying for their nostalgia moved on. Nowadays it's more like N64. It's kind of got the the nostalgia bug and GameCube. People my age are like crazy about the GameCube right now. That and like, it's kind of sad that the modern market is sort of collapsing back in on itself. People are turning back around to like the 8th and 7th gen with like the DS and the PSP and the PS Vita and the 3DS. And just not really buying the 9th gen with like the PS5. Just finally, I think recently, the player base for the PS5 just recently surpassed the PS4 or something like that. Like most people have finally upgraded. Not me though. Well, I guess I did get an Xbox Series, but I don't really. In terms of like modern games, I pick and choose, and mostly I was buying Nintendo for the 9th gen for the Switch. Somewhat regrettably, but whatever. Needless to say, I didn't feel compelled to, to upgrade myself. But a lot of people feel that way now, which, wow. No, stop. This is so nerve-wracking. I didn't want to fall off. I don't know why you kept going down. Like, it's cool on one hand. It's like, finally people are kind of like waking up. For, like, things I've been saying for years now. Like, issues with, or just stuff people have been complaining about. Like, just issues and stuff. Modern day games, and like, you don't really have to be like a consumer when it comes to everything. You don't have to buy everything brand new. Kind of benefits I've been enjoying for years, because growing up we were never buying the newest thing. We were never caught up generation wise, you know. Like I said, I grew up with the N64, but like the N64 is older than I am. We had that for most of my childhood, and then we had an Xbox. We got an Xbox probably around the time the 360 was launching, if I had to guess. Then we got a 360. That was probably like a couple years before the Xbox One and the PS4 came out. And then I got a Wii U during the 8th gen. That was like the first time I was caught up, I'd say. The portable systems are a different story, because we definitely were caught up on the portable systems. We had a PSP during that system's lifespan. We got the original DS around the time that came out, and then the DS Lite like not long after. And then the DSi, we had that. We kind of stopped a bit there. My sister got a DSi after the 3DS launched, but I did get a 3DS not long after that launch. I've been thinking about that. At least, you know, we were on one end of the gaming sphere. We were on top, but you know, the main console gaming, we were always behind. But that always meant that there were plenty of games that were like pretty cheap. Not that we bought much. Obviously, you're a kid, you can't buy much. You can beg your parents, and maybe like once or twice a year you can sneak something out that's not your birthday or Christmas. But I remember our local rental store. We had they got rid of the Xbox games a few years after the 360 was out, and we were able to buy some. That's how I got Mega Collection Plus, and we got some other games that we had rented before, like racing games, stuff like that. Because for the longest time we just had like the bundle game for the Xbox, you know. We would just rent stuff all the time. In 64, we had some family friends who also had N64, and we would borrow between each other. And eventually they gave us some of their stuff because their AV cord broke, and this still like haunts me to this day. But because the AV cord was broke, instead of buying a new one, they put the N64 on the side of the street. And I'm still like shook because I remember asking like, "Hey, you still have the N64? Where are the games at? We want to play some of those old games." And they're like, "Nah, the cord was broken. We just put it on the side of the street." And like, I was old enough to like realize how big of a loss that was. You know, I hope someone picked it up and not just they got thrown away. But they had Mario Kart 64, and that was like the one game from them we didn't have, because they gave us like Mario Party and like 1080 Extreme Snowboarding, and what else did we get from them? Did they have Beetle Adventure Racing? I think we might have got that from as well. So, I was gonna say those are all classic. 2/3 of those are classics, and I'm very grateful that we had them. You know. Because otherwise we had Super Smash Bros. And that was pretty much it, that system. Oh, Ocarina of Time I got from them. I would have to look at my 64. Maybe I can pull that up in a sec. But not while I'm in a time sequence, but... Like, it's kind of crazy. Especially you grow up, you're like, these are actual, like... some of the best games on the system. We kind of lucked out, because sometimes you just grow up with like licensed games and like whatever game came bundled into the system, and that's pretty much your only exposure. You don't really realize how much you missed until you get older. I actually got a Wii when the Wii U came out, but we did get the Wii U like right after, so that was the first time I was like caught up and like happy about it. But you realize it's not all it's cracked up to be. Chasing the latest thing. It's sort of, I sort of realized around that time that a lot of people, the way they experience systems is like they get it right, and then they have a couple games, and then over the years, you know, they accumulate a library. I would say like a small to moderate sized one with some decent games, and then when the new system or the new generation comes out, they sell all of it, like they trade it in just so they could buy the new system, and they might get like one game. And it's kind of crazy to me, like they have to rebuild that stockpile that they had and like buy new controllers over the years and stuff like that. And it's kind of crazy to me because like monetary wise, you know, it just doesn't make sense. Especially when you have siblings. Like, it's gonna take a while for you to get everything. I didn't really realize or really understand why people didn't have the childhood games that they grew up with. It's because they sold everything. And, you know, on some level I get it. You want the newest thing, or your parents want to get the newest thing for their kids. But like, thinking about it like logically, I guess it just doesn't make sense. To me, at least, I just didn't. Like, I would take playing older gen systems and being well behind the pack, but getting games cheap and having plenty of controllers for all your siblings and your family, rather than keeping up with like one, maybe two games, and like very slowly accumulating a library that you're gonna sell off at the beginning of the next. That's kind of why I came up, how I became a quote-unquote collector. I wouldn't really classify myself as that, but I realized over time that I had quite a bit of things, and people just generally didn't experience gaming that way. You know, they played leapfrog with it, basically. They never had anything accumulate. I thought for sure that was off. Oh man. Like the one time we sold some off was the Wii, because we had a Wii U at that point. Like, well, I have a Wii, you know. And we also had a newer edition Wii, which didn't have GameCube backwards compatibility. So it kind of made sense, but after we sold it, most of us were pretty um, regretful of it. Like we shouldn't have sold that off. I think we got rid of a couple of the games. We only had a couple games to begin with. Dang, that kind of sucks. You know, unbeknownst to most of us, I think all of us kind of became a collector sort of family. I'm very grateful for all the things that I have. And that kind of loops back around to what I was talking about before. I never thought I would own those, like the 3rd and 4th gen systems. Until I think, well, I guess it's 2026 now, which is crazy. Till, you know, 2025 when I just happened to come across some decent deals for that Genesis, the NES, and the SNES. Now I'm a owner of those, you know. Never would have thought. And then the import, I got a Japanese Saturn, which was a lot more cost effective. Thankfully, people opened my eyes to imports and stuff like that. It's nice. I have like 3 Sega systems now. You know, I never thought I would own any Sega systems. I was going to buy, so there's power base minis basically, which are like, instead of buying a whole power base, which is also expensive now. It's crazy. All the Genesis add-ons used to be pretty cheap, but now they're all pricey. The 32X used to be like a $25 thing you could buy, and now it's $200. The CDs always been pricey, but that's $200. And then the power base goes for like $80 to $120, which is just way too much for me. But thankfully there's plenty of aftermarket solutions. And I was going to buy one with FM sound chip, because some Master System games have FM sound. But thank you, game dude, thank you. But the list of FM games is like pitiful, and 2 of those games I am going to have to emulate anyway, or like most of those games are going to have to emulate anyway, because there's the 3D Saturn like controller, paddle controller, which is like a knob. Had some games used, and I think you can't use that on a Genesis. Like, you have to use it on a Master System, which I'm just not interested in buying, especially in the US where they're not common like at all. I can't even find the games anymore, and they used to be like bargain bin games that you used to find fairly often. I can't even find Master System games. So there's those games I'm probably gonna have to emulate, even if it doesn't work as well as it should. Like Galactic Protector, which is like a Fantasy Zone game. That game was on the PS2 Sega Ages Fantasy Zone collection, which only came out in Japan. I'm probably gonna emulate and then hope that works okay. There's that, and then I think an Alex Kidd game, and that's pretty much it. But there's also the 3D titles. which thankfully I think the only notable ones that I care about, which is Outrun and Space Harrier, were on the Sega 3D Classics for the 3DS, which is pretty easy to um, get that on a modded 3DS. I have those, and I can actually play them in 3D instead of like having to buy I don't even know what you need, like a 3D TV. I don't even know how they did 3D stuff on TV back then. But you probably need like a CRT, and like I think the glasses are uber expensive. If I can get a nice convenient way to play them at work, I'm a-okay. But that's what I was going to talk about earlier. Is, you know, part of the reason I even have a PC is so I can emulate. Some stuff you're not going to be able to get natively. And I think I'm more open to that idea nowadays. Like, I'm going to play the game, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm not going to be dropping, you know, hundreds of dollars on a single game if I don't have to. Like Space Channel 5 GBA one. It's like an $80 game, and like I would like to play it just so, you know, I play every Space Channel 5 because there's like 4 games. I might as well just emulate it. It's not like I doubt I'm gonna be playing that a ton of time. Stuff like that where like repros, I'm a bit more iffy on. It's like, I do like owning, but is it really the same when it's like a fake game, you know? Like, on the other hand, it's like, well, at least I have it in some capacity. I could still get the experience that I look for, which is like the original experience, even if it's a bit off because it's fake. It's still mostly what I'm looking for. Like, I have the means to now. I might as well use those means. You know, that's, like I said, that's part of the reason why I even built a PC. To emulate stuff. Like, I'm going to emulate Saturn before I even got one. But now I can just play it. That's why I was kind of getting a bit torn on, because now I have like the means to play some of the stuff that I never thought I would be able to play. I think, you know, just emulating to fill the gaps where necessary is perfectly fine. I'm still a bit iffy on that versus a reproduction. But I don't know. I guess it just well, we are making good time. I think we're kind of close to where we were. At least in the general. So, you know. I don't think we've died yet. Hopefully not. I don't trust that. I think that... Phew. I think the swing was kind of off there. There we go. Like this part is a little questionable, you know. Maybe something this big does move, but I feel like it's a little fantasized. I find it hard to believe. I haven't played Viva Pinata in a while. That would be fun. There's so much games to play. Oh man. I saw, what's his name? Trey, I think his name is? My Life in Gaming. They put out like games they played in the year, which a bit of a hint of things to come for me. But I think one of them played Viva Pinata, but he said it wasn't his type of game. And he thought it was okay, which is sad. I was hoping he would, I kind of get it. I kind of do like farming games and stuff like that, even though I think Viva Pinata is a little more unique and more dynamic than your average like, farming game is. I can understand just not really jiving with it. This part again. Excuse me. That didn't take too long. It felt pretty quick. Here we go. Getting better at that. I gotta be careful because I think I lost a life somewhere around here. It's kind of silly from what I remember. Yeah, it's right here. Here's the secret if you go. I've got it. I'm confused. Oh, we need to start going the other way and then hit it. That's good. Nice. I think I'm gonna get. I tried Metal Slug Anthology out the other day, and the latency is pretty bad, but it's like the PS4 emulation of PS2 that they used to use. They made a new one recently that I hear is pretty good. But the old one they used to use is pretty poor. It feels like you're like emulating the PS2. But it's got some pretty bad latency. And I haven't heard anyone speak about it, although there's not a lot of coverage on that game in general for like the Wii or the PS2 versions. So I think I'm just gonna buy on either of those if I see it. It's been a while since I've seen Anthology. I feel like, I don't know, it's such a weird thing. Like, you're looking, there's those games that you see kind of often, like Metal Slug Anthology, and then when you need to go buy it, you can't find it. Or in my case, I could find it, but I opted to go for the PS4 version because it was cheaper as being a cheapo. But I always end up biting myself whenever I take the cheap route, it feels like. And then you want it after the fact, and like you can't even find it anymore. But I'll look around for it. I very rarely can find stuff locally when I really need it. It's always like, which is still good. Like games that I'm going to get to. Like recently I picked up. Well, actually, I think I took that back. I talked about the golf. Excuse me, the golf NES. I was playing that the other day. It was kind of fun. It took a while to like learn everything, but it was decent fun. Like that's a game I got like super neat to get into like right now, but it is something I want to get into soon. So I'm not even sure. This jump is so hard. So it's nice to at least have that. There's some Call of Duty games that I gotta get my hands on. It's weird, like some of the like a lot of the 360. I didn't mean to do that. A lot of the 360 Call of Duty games are backwards compatible, but they have Xbox One versions, and the store doesn't really specify. When you go search it up on the Microsoft store, which is already like really confusing between that and like the Xbox store, it doesn't specify if it's the 360 version or the Xbox One version. And sometimes if you click on one, it'll take you to the Xbox One version. I found out most of the time it means the Xbox One version is the one that has DLC that still is being sold and or is on sale. So I added those to my pile, which I am done with the pile. I just need to list it, take pictures and list it of stuff to sell. And then I'll probably buy the Xbox One versions, which I doubt are expensive, just not as easy to find. My friends want me to catch up with Stranger Things, but I've got nothing but final season Stranger Things memes on my For You page now. People are pretty upset about the finale, I guess. I might as well, since it's done now, I might as well catch up. I watched it back when it came out, the first season. I thought it was good, but it wasn't like my favorite thing in the world. And then season 2, I watched like way later. I didn't really care for it. I thought it was too derivative. And then I finally started season 3 because season 4 came out and my friends were really repping that. And family as well. And my sister wants me to watch season 5 because she's liking it. She's not finished with it yet. But I'm still like stuck in season 3, which I just wasn't in the mood for back when I started that. That and Walking Dead, I'm like just stuck on. I'm not super in the mood whenever I try to pick them back up. But I probably will get to it at some point. Both of those series became kind of repetitive. I sort of started to realize that after I heard complaints of both. I got like halfway into season 5 of Walking Dead, and like one of my teachers said something about one of my teachers back in high school was like, that show's all the same. Like they find a shelter and then at the end of the season it gets blown up and they have to find a new shelter. And then ever since I heard that, I'm like, he's absolutely right. I just kind of, it was running in circles for me. I just was kind of sick of it. And that, along with I hear that it just kind of falls off a cliff in terms of quality later on, is not the most glowing endorsement. I would kind of prefer to read the comics, but they're like uber expensive. Oh, I forgot to look the ladder down. I'm gonna have to bring this other box back. I don't want to get squished. A good thing I didn't stop. Is this like a crashed plane? Do you see that? It's like a turbine right here. Like the rest of it. Maybe I'm just seeing things. I have to screw this up again. Stupid as death. So dumb. It's not even my fault, it's the thing. It's like so particular where you have to stand. It sucks, there's no that cartridge reader that I made a while ago. There's no like adapter. There's a bunch of adapters for a bunch of different systems, but there's no adapter for the Saturn, and I don't really have a way to back up my Saturn saves, which is not a huge deal right now since I just have like Knights and Sega Rally. But once I get to like the tons of RPGs, I want to have a way to, have posterity with that. So it sucks to have to buy like another piece of equipment after spending a lot of money and time on something that could pretty much handle all of my systems, minus like Saturn. I might see if there's any save data backup thing for Saturn. So this is where we lost our last life last time, right? Okay, I kind of messed this up, so I think I'm just gonna do it. Okay, I have to let it hit the ground. I could do this good, it's just you sort of forget sometimes. I really like this visual right here. You get a tree, and you see the branches up top are kind of point. Oh shoot! I wasn't paying attention. This is what I get, dude. The moment, the moment I stop paying attention. I gotta get this. Oh well, that's the first death at the spot where I had my last one, so it's good progress at least. Let's not have silly deaths like that. The first one. I'll talk more about the tree when see the other half of it. And then you flip. And this is another thing. Like, why is there... And then you see the trunk extends to the ceiling, and then you get that awesome... That would look incredible in 3D. The branches coming out like that. That's another thing. Like, why is that like that? Why is there grass on the ceiling and, like, trees, like, sticking out? Stuff like that is just like, I don't think that's real, you know? And why is there this inside of we're inside of a building. That makes me lean toward all this being facsimile, you know? No, stop. Ooh, that's a little far. This really... I couldn't understand this first time I played it. Like, it was really messing with my mind. Right. So, it's a lot simpler. Less less of a head scratcher than you might think. Stuff like this, I wouldn't say frustrating, but I think the first time I was a little like, I don't know. I didn't when you start the game. It's not, you don't really expect stuff like this for the rest of it. I wouldn't say it sells a false promise, but I definitely can see how people, myself included, are not huge fans of the second half of the game. I saw someone give a rating on that stash website that I talked about, where I've been chronicling my collection. Although the people in there kind of they do the thing where like they're very heavily influenced by the YouTubers they watch, and they talk like they're journalists, even though they're not. But the one guy said the second half was frustrating. I wouldn't go that far, right? When I say that part is a life waster, man, that's awesome. I did that first try. Now, I think I'm still on one death on the gun on the floor, so let's keep it that way. These next couple parts are pretty hard. Spam button, dude. I don't even wanna. Where's that? Right there too is easy to. Okay. Ah, so look over here. I turned it off. Why is it? Oh, we're upset. My bad, my bad, my bad. Oh! I'll take it. Yeah, I gotta repurpose myself. Whew. Okay, that's death 2. The good news is we're like 2 jumps away from finishing the game. Oh! Okay. Oh my goodness, that's death 3. I gotta pay attention. Yes. Okay, let's stop right here for a second. This is the last jump, but it is kind of tough. Yes! Let's go! I took 3 deaths. Let's go! That's a lot harder than a silver. Let's go. There's one gold trophy, which is the secret level, which is pretty much pitch black and you have to use noise. But it's not as arduous as this is, honestly. But this is why people say the one theory said it was a car accident because of the glass, and then it kind of resets the game. And then this is like the intro where you wake up. And after that, I was like, hey, that's probably the best theory I've seen. I'm very happy in my performance there. And that only took 2 tries today. I had like 4 attempts last night, I think. It took me probably less than 10 because I think I had 1 right after I did the rest of the trophies. I'm very happy about that. I think if you go this way, I don't know, let's check real quick. I don't think the facility's there anymore. Yeah, this is like 1-for-1 beginning of the game. You can find an egg right here. See the ending went out, and then we'll finish. We'll pop something else in, and then you finally get. Quite beautiful, I was saying. Oh, maybe you found her. Maybe you actually get to stay with her. This is interesting because this is like obviously like a twisted version of what we just saw, and I think this is the title screen. Maybe that's what it really is, and he just imagined it. I don't know. I know. Let's take a look at our achievement. I don't know if I have. Awesome. 100%. .2 on that one. I managed to find this one. Thankfully, I didn't have to look anything up. This one wasn't hard either. If you're not paying attention, but this is probably the easiest clue. Crazy, only quarter people beat the game. There's like the whole thing about completion numbers. I don't know why these companies care. Whoa! It's the tree at the end. Yeah, I definitely think that kind of cemented it for me. I definitely think you and the girl, whether that be your sister, who else? Yeah, I'm part of the 0.4. I don't know how to share screenshots. I would love to share this, but I don't think. I think it's only like Twitter. Yeah. Well, I could just screenshot it off of here. I forget that I'm streaming. I just capture it off of here. I'm pretty happy about